my fellow artists, and welcome back to Life Cues Week 21. I just heard the coolest quote. It says that art heals, and it so does, especially through this process. And it also tells our story, and I think it's so cool. I keep saying this week after week, how amazing it is to tell our story. So for this week, on this page, and this is from Janet and John, they live in the UK, and Janet's a dear friend of mine. She's a nut bar just like me. So I'm going to work on that page today. And the question for today is, what makes me me? Or what makes you you? So sort of what makes you tick? Who are you? Instead of, I usually answer that question by, instead of who am I, who I am. Like who I am. So that's what we're going to do on this page. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put some kind of background spray just to cover up this page. I like the rough texture. There was something on this page and I took it off because it was Christmassy, but the underlying tearing off left kind of a cool, that's just adhesive, a cool rough structure underneath. So I'm just going to grab some spray and spray that. I'm having the best cup of organic mint tea. I grow this mint from the most beautiful teacup. I don't know if you can see it. I'll show you the saucer. Richard bought this for me. I love it. I just said, I was in the store and it was Chapters. It's kind of like Barnes & Noble. And I was like, that is the prettiest teacup I have ever seen. If you can see oh, I wish you could see the base of it. Yeah, see how it's all green? It's just the prettiest thing I have ever seen. And then we went up to the till and Richard bought it for me. So I'm just going to have a sip. Organic mint tea and honey. There's nothing better. So I'm going to use, oh, I can feel it going down in my tummy. Oh, feels good. I'm using this London Blue ink spray from Delusions. And I'm just going to spray this page. Just because I want it to be a color and not white. And these sprays do the job so well. There, and I'm not too worried about it getting on other pages just because I'm going to be covering them up with something. I just don't want it to get on pages I've already done, you know? So I'll just let that dry. So I've got this picture of me. I have no idea how old it is. I went through some pictures yesterday that I had, and this one, I can tell by the blouse that it's really like in the 80s or something, but it still looks like me. Funny, I still wear my blush exactly the same way. It's funny. So I'm just going to trim it up a little bit. Just trim off all the background. Because if this is a page about who I am, or what makes me me, there should be me on the page, I'm thinking. And, you know, sometimes I'll tell you, my pattern is I collect elements, but then I don't know how I'm going to add them to the page. I have no idea what I'm going to do. So that's about my way of doing my life journaling. So I have this crown, and I need a crown. So I'm going to stickle this up, make it a pretty crown, because I'm not just going to wear any old paper crown. Let's make it green, my favorite color. So I'm just using stickles here. Move all this out of the way. Put it on top of the scratch paper. So I will stickle it first, and then I'll cut it out. Once it gets blinged up here. I've got music in my iPod. You could probably hear it. It's in my ear. So if I start singing, so I'll just join those sides, and then I think what I'm going to do is get some bling, like actual blingy stuff and put in the middle there. So I'm going to add these blings to those little spots there. And I always use my little knife to do that. There's one. There. So I'm just going to cut it out. And then I'll place it on my head. And then I'll add another piece of bling to my crown. Because I mean, I have to have a crown. Come on. It's all about me, right? Even though it's a teeny one. I'll put it kind of... There's a blemish on this picture. It's not on my skin, but it's on the... So I might put it like that. Okay, so there's another element, like I've got my crown and my picture and my bling and everything else. And there are elements to who I think I am or who I am. And I am going to write them on a little tag, which is here somewhere. There it is. But also, as I am thinking about writing these things on a little tag, something keeps coming to mind, and it was this poem that I heard when I was working at school, and it's about my life is but a tapestry or but a weaving, and it's all about how we, especially if you're going through bad times, we are the underside of the tapestry that God is creating. So all we can see are the loose threads and all the kind of knots and all the messy stuff, but we don't see the good side. Sometimes we get a glimpse of the good side and all the beauty and the joy, and then we realize what beautiful being that we are, what a wonderful, beautiful person that we are. And lately, I've been feeling so much more open-hearted. I don't know, and I feel like I'm getting glimpses of that I am a creature of God, and I am a, God doesn't make any junk, and, you know, it's me, hook, line, and sinker. This is what you get. What you see is what you get. And that poem, The Tapestry, I have it here. And what I did is I printed it on canvas because I want it to kind of phrase. So it says, "My life was but a weaving between my God and me. I cannot choose the colors he weaveth steadily. Oft times he weaveth sorrow, and I in foolish pride forget he sees the upper and I the underside. Not till the loom is silent and the shuttle cease to fly will God unroll the canvas and reveal the reasons why. The dark threads are as needful in the weaver's skillful hand as the threads of gold and silver in the patterns he has planned. He knows, he loves, he cares. Nothing this truth can dim. He gives the very best to those who leave the choice to him." So although I believe I am this and I am that, and I leave the choice to God, to the universe, to who I still can be. Like, I don't know who I'm going to be when I grow up. Do you know what I mean? When I'm all done. So I wanted to have this canvas because it says he weaves it on the canvas. Oh, phone. So I've got just about all the elements ready for my page, as I mentioned before. But this was just on another page on the internet about that poem about my life is but a weaving. And it just had the underside of where you can see the threads. Can you see that? But I wanted to make it more 2D or 3D, I guess. So I'm going to use my Sew Easy sewing thing. And actually, I think what I'll do on the flip side is I'll use a pencil. And you know me, I'm just doing this as I go. I'm going to want it to be this way, so I'm going to draw a heart. So that the threads that I'm going to try to poke through here on the right side, but I want them to be on the wrong side, if that makes sense, will be in the shape of a heart. There. So now I'm just going to take my Sew Easy, and hopefully it'll go through this fabric. I think it will. It should. Push it down. Yeah, I can feel it going through, so that's perfect. And I'll just turn that so I can get around the curve. You know, again, I can't say it enough. If for nothing else, this Life Cues has afforded me the opportunity to use some of these mini crafts that I have. I don't know if it's going through hard enough. I think I'm going to have to push harder, Monica. So you can hear it, because this is canvas paper. But at least I can see the dots, so that'll give me a guide as to which way to poke, you know? I'm just going to go ahead and make my heart here. And then I will poke embroidery threads through. There we go. I just had to do it more than one time. There. So I'll get my threads out and sew them through. Okay, so I got my heart. You see how I have the tapestries on this side? And this is the underside, or the right side that God sees, and this is the underside we see. I love how that turned out. Perfect. So then I've got my poem, my tapestry poem, and then on my tag I wrote some things what I am. I am open-hearted, ever-changing, always learning, non-judgmental, creative, loving, and a free spirit. Those are the things that I believe that I am. And then I found this M, this blingy M. It's a sticker. I have no idea where I got this. But M for Monica Mercedes Miles, born in Minneapolis, Minnesota. I have claimed and earned this M. Hang on. So I'm just going to stick it on this page like so. You guys can't see what I'm doing. There. I stuck the M in the corner there. There. And then I'm going to, because I'd like to add a little bit more color into, like, especially this, I'm just going to take some acrylic paint and just put on my finger. I kind of want to just dry, really dry brush it, so I don't want it leaving, you know, too wet of a mark, because I don't want to wreck the words or anything. But I just want to add some kind of paint or something to it. So I'm going to take this color too. That one was like pink, and this is more like a tealy green color. Same thing. There we go. And just rub it in so that we don't lose our text on our canvas, but at least there's a little bit of color on it. Take a little bit more pink and smush that together, and smushy smushy. There, that's enough. So I've got my M down, and I'm going to glue that there, and this I'm going to distress. I'm going to glue me down right about here with my crown. I don't know why I feel I need a crown, but I do. I just do. And I'm going to get all this glued down, and I'll be right back. So I added some vintage photo distressed, you can see around the tag, and I kind of darkened that a little bit just to make it a little bit older so that you can still read it, but it's got a little bit of color in it. So then I found these Making Memories old stickers, and Michael's used to have those kits where you could buy them for like $14, and it was full of all kinds of stuff. So I still have these stickers. So I think I'm going to put who I am right there. And hopefully they still have some stick to them. I will go over them with gel medium. Forgot what it was called for a minute. Who, and that'll help it stick a little bit better. Instead of who am I, who I am. And I will get that down on the side of the page there. I really enjoyed doing this page. I don't know why. Maybe because it's about me. But I think we should, even though this book is obviously a compilation of who we are, there should be one page kind of, I'm sure there might be even more, that is just dedicated to just that. Who are you? And I always think when I'm doing these, like I think in years to come, if someone's going through our items we've left behind, it's interesting. It would be interesting for them to go through all of these art books, because there's so much about you in here that, you know, maybe you've never shared with anybody. Like, I don't think anybody in my family knows that I like this poem about the tapestry and all that stuff, because sometimes things that really move and touch me are things that I don't necessarily talk about. I hear them, but I internalize it, I guess, is the word. So a couple more letters. Who I am. And that's it. Who I am. There. So here is my finished page. So the question was, what makes me me? Or who are you? And you can answer it any way you feel fit to answer it. I sort of answered who I am. And that kind of also what makes me me. So like I said, I'm open-hearted, ever-changing, always learning, non-judgmental. I'm creative, loving, and a free spirit. And a lot of those things I learned with age. Non-judgmental being one of the biggest one, and living with an open heart and feeling. I just learned that over this past year. And that's just the most amazing thing that can ever happen to you if you can get to that place. It's beautiful. You feel everything. You feel the sadness, but you also feel true joy. And yeah, it's really, I used to be very, very guarded, but I'm not so much anymore. So I have done this page in years past, and it was like, I didn't even look what makes me me. I'll look in here. This is my old 52 cues from, what year? 2009. And I did them all on tags, and this is the one here, the natural one here. And it said, what makes me me? And I said, what makes me me? I'm strong, resilient, ever-changing, free spirit, natural, caring, fair, creative, and love. And where I see strong and resilient, now I've replaced that with open-hearted, because sometimes being strong and resilient is a way of being guarded. And it's interesting to look back on the exact same question posed a few years ago. So yeah, this one was all done with tags. So back to this page. So I've got one thing that I've realized too, like I said, my wife is a weaving between my God and me, and I can't see the colors he weaves. And that's why sometimes my life looks like this, all messy and wrecked. But on the other side, we all know, is God's side, and he's creating perfection, and God does not make any mistakes. And God doesn't create any junk. So that's who I am. I'm a weaving in process, I guess. I am a unfinished project. That's who I am. And I'm just going to buckle in and enjoy the ride and see who I will become, who I'm going to become, because every day it's changing. So thanks so much for watching, everyone. And I forgot to date this, and I will do that right away. Let me do it right now. This is why I love these pens, these white Uniqlo pens or Signo. I get them through Stampin' Up, because they just write so nicely on everything. So I've got the date, May 23rd, 2015. So thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we will see you next week. Bye. Oh, and I added bling to my crown and to that dot right there. Yeah. Bye.